Another billionaire is implying that workers are too lazy to work long hours. Recently, Wayfair CEO Niraj Shah sent an end-year message to workers urging them to work more hours and forget about work-life balance. He writes, quote, "Winning requires hard work, working long hours, being responsive, blending work and life is not anything to shy away from. There is not a lot of history of laziness being rewarded with success." Yes, winning, it requires hard work. Really, well, if that's all that it took, then there'd be a lot more winners, wouldn't it? I mean, I know people who work their asses off all day in and day out, just to keep their heads above water. I mean, they're not winning. They're barely getting paid enough to survive, and they're putting in 60, 70-hour weeks. So, what a tone deaf, absolute BS statement. Okay, do you know what winning requires in this country? Luck, a lot of luck. Maybe a small $1 million loan. Rich parents. Yes, that's right. A lot of the examples that people like to throw in poor people's face, for rags to riches. Oh, they built this billion-dollar business out of their garage. No, it's missing a lot of context here. Look, if you're more likely to succeed if you have wealthier parents, a upper middle class lifestyle, okay, that's it, and connections. For example, Bill Gates. They like to throw, Bill Gates built Microsoft. Okay, his mother served on the United Way's board with the chair of IBM. That allowed him to get a sweetheart deal in order to help build his business. Elon Musk's parents owned a literal emerald mine. Mark Zuckerberg took $100,000 in a loan from his father to start Facebook. Jeff Bezos' parents were early investors in Amazon. They had money. So, we see winning requires hard work and rich parents. I know. Now, look, I'm going to cite an Israeli study done by Sheryl Greenberg, who's the chief economist of Israel's Ministry of Finance. And what that study found is that the income of an entrepreneur's parents is the most important factor towards the likelihood of starting up a successful business. Wow. The Israeli study also correlates to a 2013 study from the University of California, Berkeley, by economists Ross Levine and Rona Rubenstein, who looked at the shared traits of entrepreneurs and found that most were white, male, highly educated. If one does not have money in the form of a family with money, the chances of becoming an entrepreneur drop quite a bit, Levine told Quartz. Most of these entrepreneurs are upper middle class. They have tons of support, right? It's not about working hard. It's not about, they just got up and pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, right? Which again, the whole phrase "pull yourself up by your bootstraps" is meant to show how impossible it is, because you can't. It's not about working hard. It's not about working longer hours for someone else. Look, I'm not saying that, hey, hard work isn't important, right? If you're building your own business, of course there's going to be hard work involved, right? There's going to be long hours involved. That's not the same. You can't compare that to working long hours for someone else to reap the profits, because that's what he's asking for, though. Oh, you need to work longer and harder so that I can make more money. Wait, hold on. And he says, well, that's winning. No, that's you winning. That's not us winning. What are we getting from this, right? Look, here's the thing, though. I mean, the whole thing about you need to work longer hours, more hours, forget about work-life balance. Oh, no. No, spend more time at work. Blend your personal family time with work time. Hell no. Here's the thing, though. Americans are more productive than ever. And guess what? We actually have some of the least amount of time away from work than other developed countries. Okay? And I say that developed countries. Americans spend more time at work than workers in Australia, the UK, Sweden, Belgium, France, and Germany. Right? And a UN report found that more than a third of all workers are on the job at least 48 hours per week. So, look, only countries that spend more time at work are places like China. Yeah. And not only do we, as Americans, spend more time at work than our European counterparts, but you also end up getting a lot less for it. I mean, are there higher salaries when it comes to, places like in America, for example? Yeah, for middle management and things like that, for higher, again, people in the upper middle class, right? That's not most people in America. In fact, nearly half of all Americans, 44%, are not paid a living wage for their labor. A living wage being defined as the income necessary for a person or family to not only meet their basic needs, such as food and shelter, but also to provide stability and financial independence needed for a good quality of life. So that's 44% of Americans are not paid a living wage. They don't get paid leave. In fact, we're the only country without mandated paid leave. Okay, paternity, maternity leave. We're not guaranteed health insurance. And by the way, even if you work, you're not guaranteed health insurance. Millions of Americans going without all that stuff. And that's not because workers are lazy. It's because we're not paid enough to survive. That's it. And why is that? It's because the CEOs and the shareholders are taking all the gains. That's what's going on here. Look, I think that we should be working less and making more. That's it. And I say that because there's more to living than just spending all of your waking hours making sure that someone else can afford a yacht. Okay, that your boss can afford a yacht. No. And finally, it's not that people don't want to work. They just want to have a life where they can enjoy the fruits of their labor. That's it. People don't want to work for less. They want to get paid what they're worth. They want to get paid for their labor and enough to live a good life. The idea that, workers, you're just lazy and entitled. No, for just wanting that, saying that shows you just how out of touch these billionaires and their simps really are.